Right, today what I'm talking about is contracts. Not the sexiest topic, I know, but you should understand any document you're putting your name to, the legally binding contracts. Especially the freelancer. I can't emphasize this enough. I actually believe that most people sign contracts without either properly reading them or fully understanding what the implications are. And I want to do something to try and change that, to try and put the contractors back in a position of power. So before we go any further, let's get a definition. I think a good one is that a contract is an agreement that creates obligations. So you agree to be obligated to one another under specific circumstances. Now, I know that until as part of my day job, I didn't properly understand the terminology and structure of contracts. And that's because, for the most part, you're not supposed to. Contracts, especially in business, are long, unstructured, and full of unrealistic terminology that's incomprehensible to most people. And that's because they want you to get a lawyer in to decipher the contract so that you can understand it. So, as a freelancer, it's important that you have an understanding of some of the legalese and of what you're putting your name to. So I'm going to give you a bit of my own learning and insights, and to help you when you're dealing with contracts. So here's a few things I've learned and I think you should do. Number one, get a written contract. A verbal agreement isn't good enough. I'm talking from experience. I learned this the hard way and got screwed because of it. And the thing that I know now is that you need to protect yourself whenever you're dealing with a client. It doesn't matter how friendly or easy to work with you want to be, you've got to look after number one. And that means getting a legal contract before you do any work. Number two, read the whole thing. Yes, it can be tedious, but it's also really important. You need to read the entire document and make sure that you understand it. So set aside some time and work your way through it, even if it's really dry. It's worth the time you're investing. Number three, more than once. So you've read it through once, now you've got to do it again and again and again until you're comfortable with it. You need to be completely comfortable with the document you're about to put your name to. It's important. There are legal ramifications. It's a binding document. Make sure that you understand the terminology, make sure you understand the contract, make sure what your obligations are and what you're getting in return. Take notes, and if you need clarifications, get them. If there's any bit of the document you're unhappy with, if you're unhappy with any part of the contract, seek legal advice. It is worth investing some money and making sure that you are fully protected. Number four, ask questions. It's far more important that you have an understanding of what you're putting your name to, what implications there are of the contract. So if you have anything you need clarified, get back in contact with the person who's issued it to you and ask questions. Check that you both understand the obligations that you're committing to one another. Number five, understand what should be included and what's missing. Generally, at the start of the contract is a definition of terms, and most terms should be defined and easy to find, but occasionally things are overlooked. So make sure that everything you want to be included and all the terminology that's being used is defined there, so that both parties clearly understand it. Definitions should be sort of number one, but things do get overlooked and copy and paste errors do happen. So just go through it and double check it and make sure you're comfortable with what each term means. So terms like scope of work, termination, payment terms, These are all important to outlining what you're going to do, what your contractual obligations are, and what you're going to get in return. If anything is missed, you need to highlight it with your client and get it rectified. Number 6, remember, you can negotiate. Just because something's written down doesn't mean that's the end of it. If there's terms that you're not happy with, you can have them amended, taken out, or even add in your own. But remember, your client doesn't have to agree to it. That's what contract negotiation is all about. You're trying to find a middle ground that you're both happy with, you both feel protect both parties. The contract is negotiable up until the point it's signed. Afterwards, there is a little bit of leeway, but it's much easier getting the negotiations done up front so you're both happy and comfortable as soon as your signatures are on it. Number 7. Know when to walk away. If you're negotiating a contract and you can't find that middle ground where you're both happy that you're both protected, walk away. It's really, really hard. I know you're walking away from income, but if you're not protected, it could backfire massively. It's easier to walk away and find a new client than put yourself and your company at risk. So, in future videos, I'm going to look at different parts of the contract, some legalese, and help you really break into it and make sure that you understand what you're talking about and really try and put the power back in your hands when you're going through contract negotiations. In the meantime, that's the way it is. But if you've enjoyed this podcast and you think it's useful, please like us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube. We will produce more content and really empower your business and you.